The Senate race in Michigan is already so dirty, and it's getting even more dirty and not in a fun way at all. Okay, so yesterday, Dropsite News reported that after Ryan Grimm inquired about Haley Stevens' campaign consultant, she has been let go. Caitlin Legacki had been consulting for Stevens' campaign, but she also was secretly consulting elsewhere. She was consulting for Palantir. And also, I just want to throw this out there, per her bio on X, she's also a Swiftie, so do with that what you will. Stevens' campaign is staunchly anti-ICE, but having a Palantir-aligned consultant on her team kind of flies in the face of that campaign promise that she wants to lessen ICE's impact in her state. And as far as we know, Stevens was not aware of her consultant's double dealings, and she has been let go. But that is not even the worst of or the end of the trouble with Stevens, because as far as complicity goes, she can deny that she knew anything about Legacki. She hasn't denied it, but perhaps she didn't know anything. But she definitely knew about these things that we're about to tell you about. So we already have so much AI content out in the world, and Haley Stevens' campaign seems eager to capitalize on the fact that no one really knows what is going on anymore. Everyone is confused about things that they see on the internet. No one knows what's real and what's fake anymore. And she is not helping to make life easier for any of us. So she already released an ad that suggested that Obama had endorsed her. He has not endorsed her. And that already led to some black voters in her district or in the state to side with her over Abdul El-Sayed because they thought Obama endorsed her. She even sent out a fake press release claiming that El-Sayed was endorsed by their Republican challenger, Mike Rogers, and they started spreading this around X with no disclaimer, and it's incredibly irresponsible, and they know what they're doing, and it says there, Abdul for US Senate, and this is an endorsement alert, Mike Rogers endorses Abdul El-Sayed in the Democratic US Senate primary. And there's a fake quote from Rogers that says, if he wins, I think we're in good shape. I think we'll do well if he, in fact, is the nominee. And so, yeah, they want to push this idea that Stevens' campaign wants Abdul El-Sayed to be the nominee over Haley Rogers because he will be easier to beat, and that's a bad thing, okay? And Stevens' campaign has said that the fake press release was meant to be a parody, but there was no indication anywhere that it was meant to be taken that way. And they must know, like you have to know at this point that people are gonna fall for it. So you can pretend all you want that, oh, it's just a joke, we're just joking. That's what Donald Trump says. That's the type of stuff that we get from the Republicans all the time, okay? So anyway, they put out this thing, she's talking about Rogers, but this just kind of like drew some comparisons between Haley Stevens and Rogers themselves. So here's what we get there. We see that they are both backed by AIPAC. Mike Rogers got $158,000 from them, which is a lot of money, but Haley Stevens has received $30 million from AIPAC so far as we know. Like that is an insane amount of money. So people have been responding.
Gloss over how much money these people get.
Yeah, $30 million is just wrap your head around that. You can't do it. And all of this is just so for primaries so that she can take out Abdul El-Sayed. And they did a very similar thing with Thomas Massie. So we know what they're about. We know this game. We know their MO by now. And people are not sitting down taking this lightly. We saw some people respond with very similar shots to Stevens, like this one you can see here. It says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu endorses Haley Stevens for US Senate. Just a parody, but also, I mean, there is a lot of money going into her campaign. And then there's also this one, it says Haley Stevens for Israel. And this mimics the fake press release that she put out. And it says, Bibi maybe said this as a quote, Haley would be great since she will send us more money from hardworking Americans. Yeah. And she loves Israel. She dreams of Israel. Israel comes to her in her dreams. That's what she said. It's really weird, but that is what she said. However,
she really said that?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was like this unhinged video, and she's like talking about how much she loves Israel, and she's like, "Oh, I dream of Israel," or "It comes to me in my dream," something insane like that. and she says it. She makes me uncomfortable watching her, but
Yeah, that's creepy.
You'll have to see it. It's really good and also really terrible. And unfortunately though, like she has all these things that she's doing, that she's saying out loud, and then she's running all these tricks, and you think surely this isn't going to work for her, but it might be. Okay, so Stevens is a moderate, and she's leading El Sayed by 7 points, according to a recent poll from Detroit News. She also reportedly accepted close to $30 million from AIPAC, which we just saw. But the reporting and poll from the Detroit News, I think it is worth mentioning that the Detroit News had officially endorsed Stevens before releasing the poll showing her in the lead. Okay, so here's more. The Michigan Democrat justified the contribution by telling the AP that anyone who supported me is supporting me because of my dedication to the people of Michigan and the things that I have done for Michiganders. Great. What have you done for the people of Michigan? I don't like the word Michiganders, so we will call them the people of Michigan. So you might be wondering, like, what are these things that she has done? Well, they asked her, and when she was pressed on the issue, she had repeatedly pointed to work that she had done for the auto sector under President Obama. So maybe the auto workers of Michigan really love her, or not, because the United Auto Workers have endorsed El Sayed over Stevens. So they're not even supportive of her. So whatever work she did for them wasn't enough, or they didn't like her. So they endorsed the other guy. The New York Times shows that there are just as many polls giving the edge to El Sayed, so that is a good sign. El Sayed has continually made money in politics, an issue that clearly does not concern Stevens. Again, that's a focal point of his campaign. He has been raising it, pulling in a lot of money, raising small donations, whereas Haley Stevens is getting $30 million from AIPAC and from other large money donors. And it could prove to be a very useful, helpful tactic in the general, as a new political poll shows that 72% of Americans say that there's too much money in politics, with just 5% disagreeing. 5% only.
More money, we need more. There's not enough.
Yeah, like it's weird. Who would disagree with that? And across parties, majorities say that billionaires wield outsized influence over US politics, and that special interest spending is a type of corruption that should be restricted rather than protected as free speech. Nearly half of respondents say voters have too little power. I feel like that number should be higher. Nearly half of respondents say voters have too little power.
Some people are just contrarians for no reason, which is why that 5% might be there. Like some people are just like, oh, everyone's going left, I'm gonna go right. Like, well,
because I'm smarter than everyone else, because I see things that other people don't see. So
sometimes what everyone's doing, it's because it makes sense. Actually, most of the time.
Look, it depends, right? It depends. And that's why we have to use our brains to the best of our own ability. And if we don't know something, it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know how you don't need to have an opinion on everything. I think that people forgot that that's an option. I don't have opinions on everything, because sometimes I'm like, I don't have enough information about this to have an informed opinion, or I just don't care about this. I just don't care. That's okay too. Sometimes you just don't care about things. And if you don't care about something, it's very hard to make yourself care about it. But like everything we're seeing happen in Michigan right now, I think I worry that it's just indicative of the type of elections we're just going to see going forward. We've already seen so much AIPAC money in these primaries alone. We're not even in November yet. And we've already seen all this money flowing in from who knows where, from groups that have obvious declared foreign interests, and they're knocking out our candidates. Like, if that's democracy, then I don't want that version of democracy.
Well, I think that that 30 million number, that is a lot of money, and I think it shows a lot of desperation. I mean, not that AIPAC wasn't absolutely lacing Congress with money, but at the end of the day, the state of Israel has taken a massive hit in popularity pretty quickly. Before the Iran conflict, for the most part, Israel was relatively popular with the majority of the public, particularly, well, Republicans and Democrats alike. So I was going to say particularly Republicans, but no, it was pretty universal. So they know that. And one of the litmus tests for Democrats is becoming, if you take APAC money, then the base is pretty skeptical of you. So it may be, I think that we can't deny the fact that if you have more money, then you have more visibility, and that does increase your chances to win elections. But if the underlying foundation is that this money's coming from the state of Israel, at this point in time, I don't think it's going to go as far in the long run as it has. But they had a long run, decades and decades. They invested into the United States political process to curry favor and to get themselves where they were, to where they could keep getting all this taxpayer money to help with construct their society and to help give them benefits that Americans don't even have. And now Americans are more aware of that. But Stevens herself, I mean, she just kind of seems like a silly person. And a silly person with unlimited money could be a problem. We've seen that many times before.
A silly person with unlimited money and seemingly just like no backbone at all, because she's willing to do and say a lot of the things. I mean, she's already taken so much money from these donors. You know what that means, right? You're not working for the American people anymore. You're doing whatever they want you to do, saying whatever they want you to say, because otherwise, why would they be giving you all this money? She's just not like, I don't understand really why anyone would support her apart from the people who are just afraid of progressives.
I'll say real quick. So like John Fetterman, who is just a big useless bum, he was on Fox News, as he often is. And what was his name? Kayleigh, the old White House press secretary, Kayleigh, you know what I'm talking
about. McEnany?
Yeah, Kayleigh McEnany. She was interviewing him, and she was like, she played a clip of Abdul Sayed, and he was basically, all he said was that our healthcare system and the way that people receive their benefits has flaws. That's essentially all he said, is that our healthcare system has problems. He didn't even say anything about universal healthcare. The clip ended and it was like, oh, like what the hell are we doing now? And of course, John Fetterman was like, oh, I don't know. We're going into crazy town. And all he said was our healthcare system has problems. I think that that's pretty encouraging. We've been seeing DSA candidates win elections, win primaries all over the country. I think we will continue to see that. The fight will drag on, but the tables are turning for sure. I mean, again, normally they're like, oh, they think that single payer healthcare is possible. No, now they're just like, they're criticizing the healthcare system. Oh my God, here come the red shirts.
And I did say, I think in a video that I did for Rebel HQ earlier this week, that Zoran Mamdani, he's basically running a 4-minute mile in New York City, and he's showing everybody what is possible. This can be done. And before, we were all very pacified, and they would tell us things like, oh, we can do it, but maybe not right now, or these things take time. And we're like, okay, like we're willing to put in the time, we're willing to fight, whatever. And then Mamdani just goes over in New York. He's in his first year as mayor, and he's just like doing all the stuff. He's just like checking all of his campaign promises off on a checklist and just running through them, and just, doing all kinds of stuff in between. And they still try to get him for like wanting to arrest a war criminal because he's wanted by the ICC. Like it's crazy, but the American people are seeing all of that, and they're like, oh my God, I want my Mamdani here. Can we get one of you in Houston? Can we get one of you in LA? Can we get one of you in smaller cities across the country? Like, people are seeing that he's doing what he's doing. He is a self-proclaimed Muslim democratic socialist, and people are like, I want that. I want whatever that guy is,
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.